Today I will tell you 10 things that you should know before you are hitting the trail with your dog. So let's get started. Hello my hiking friends, it is nice to see you here and welcome back to my Hiking with Dog series. Today is the second part of my 3-part series of hiking with dogs. On my last video I talked about the cons of hiking with dogs, so if you haven't seen it already I will put a card up in the corner here. But if you have seen the last video and you are still certain that you want to hike with your dog, then let's continue and I will tell you 10 tips that you should know before hiking with your dog, how to prepare for your hike and so on. So let's get started. The first one, before hitting the trail for a longer trip, please visit your veterinarian and make sure your dog is in good health of doing this trip. Some breeds aren't very good at hiking longer distances, for example the flat-faced dogs that have trouble breathing, so making them exercise really heavily will be really difficult for them. Also, make sure your dog has the vaccinations and deworming done, because dogs can find really nasty things on the trail, so you don't want to get any parasites or diseases from those things. The second thing, tags and microchips. When you are going to the woods, make sure your dog has a collar with a tag with your contact information on it, because when your dog gets lost, then there's at least some kind of information with them. And as the collars tend to get lost in the wilderness, then make sure that your dog has a microchip and check out the contact information you have on the microchip company, so the contact information is right. The third thing, depending on the trail or the park you are visiting, the dogs may or may not be allowed. So before hitting the trail, make sure the dogs are allowed on this trail or on this park, because you don't want to drive all the way to the trailhead and then turn back just because you can't go there with your dog. The fourth thing, know the trail etiquette. First of all, leash. Please keep your dog on a leash all the time, unless you are in an area where it is allowed to take your dogs off leash. And only let them off leash when your dog can be controlled and when he or she will answer your recall every time. Dogs that cannot be controlled are a danger to themselves, to the wildlife, to other people, to other animals, other dogs. So please train your dog before the hike, and then on the hike make sure he or she is on the leash, and when not, that they are close by and you can control them. The second big thing about trail etiquette is dog poop. Yeah, have a plastic bag with you all the time and gather your dog poop and dispose them properly, because you may think that you're in the nature and there is poop everywhere, why can't my dog's poop be there? But let's be honest, we are the guests in this nature area and the dog poop isn't a part of this ecosystem, so take it with you and throw it in a trash bin. Also, I have heard that this is an issue at some trails, that when you pick up your dog poop, you leave the bag with the poop on the trail. So when you return the same way, you will collect it up. No, don't do that. Nobody wants to see bags of dog poop dotting the whole way. So please pick it up immediately. Don't leave it behind, because maybe you will forget, maybe not. But at the same time, different people are walking past it, and no, that's not the nature experience we are going for. The fifth thing, first aid for your dog. Yeah, it may sound a bit weird, but remember that dogs can get sick and injured as easy as people do, so know the basic tips and tricks. There is a lot of information out there online in the internet, so be prepared. The next thing, ticks. Ticks are a really big issue in Estonia, and I imagine other places as well, but not in all places around the world. So it depends on what latitude you are living on, but most likely you will have some kind of critters that want to attach to your dog. In Estonia's case, it's ticks. So have a tick tick collar for your dog, or use some kind of other medications to repel the ticks. And always before entering your tent or going back to the car, check your dog for ticks, because they can fall off your dog really easily, and you don't want the ticks crawling on you when you are least expecting it. Food. Take enough food with you, because remember, when you need more food and more calories when you are exercising, so does your dog. So take enough of it. And during the hike, have some kind of dog treats at hand, so you can reward your dog and keep the environment and the mood as positive as possible, so your dog will have a really nice memory of the hike. And with food, the next thing is water. So when calculating how much water you need during your whole hike, please consider your dog as well, and have some kind of bowl or cup with you, so you can pour the water in there and give it to your dog, so you don't have to waste the water by pouring it on your hand and giving the water like this to your dog. Hot weather. So I think hot weather is really something you can overlook, because dogs don't have such an efficient cooling down system as humans do, and when they are exercising on a longer periods of time, they need some extra cooling down time or some swims in between to cool them down, and people oftentimes discard this. But look up the symptoms of heat stroke for dogs, and for example, be aware that dogs cool down when they are panting. So if they are panting really extended periods, even after you get them something to drink, then please stop, rest in a shady place if possible, let them go swimming. And the last thing, the 10th thing is a really big topic: dog gear. So depending on dogs and the weather and the conditions you are going for, your dog may need some dog gear. For example, something warm to sleep on or put on them if the weather is cold and the dog doesn't have a really thick fur, or for example dog shoes, dog boots if the terrain is rough. But dog gear is a really big topic, so I will do a separate video about it, and the next video will be about dog gear, what gear I have been using and what I think is useful. And there are a lot of things that don't bother buying, but some things I really think are necessary. So yeah, think about your dog, how he or she looks like, what kind of issues he or she may have. But we will jump into the gear topic on the next video. If you have anything else to add to this list, please write them down in the comments below. I would really love to see them, and also other viewers can read them as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, then please consider supporting me on Patreon. You can go to the Patreon page and start supporting me as low as $2 per month in exchange of some extra perks, so go check it out. Thank you to all my Patreons who have been supporting me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's all for today, and I will already see you next time. And by the way, go for a hike, because I feel so much better in hiking shoes. Bye.